You know, one of the top 5 regrets of the day I'm reading is I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life other expected of me. And that's something that always stuck with me because I've been wondering why, out of all the people, out of all the regrets I could have, this is one of the most common ones. And if you think about it, it's pretty obvious. There's so much social pressure pushing us to be people that we are not, or just living life that we don't want. But there's a layer under that I've been really thinking about for the past few weeks. And it's simply the fact that we're too distracted, constantly distracted. For the past few weeks, I've been journaling way, way more than usual. Whenever I felt something, even the slightest feeling, like my mom told me something happened at work, something happened in school, anything, I would journal about it and express my feelings. And that made me feel way more connected to how I feel. I was just taking the feeling and put it into paper and on paper, and it wasn't affecting me as much after that. And thinking about that, it's not something that I always do. I always journal, from time to time, but not to that extent. And what that made me realize is that I'm often too distracted, probably just like you are, because there's so many distractions. And I'm not just talking about the regular one, like, your phone, your computer, music, all that stuff. I'm also talking about just the regular life we're living, like going to work, going to your 9 to 5, working on your business, working on, hustling, whatever you do. If we don't take time to actually think about who we are, we could be living a life that is not ours, just someone else. Like, if you think about it, the other day I was asking myself, why do I want to be an entrepreneur to this extent? Why do I care so much about being an entrepreneur? And I was, putting myself and asking myself questions like, why? Why does it matter so much to me? Is it because my friends are doing it? Is it because the lifestyle is appealing and I just want that? And I was confronting myself, and it actually wasn't that easy to justify why it was so important to me. So things that we think are, just natural to us, just the way we live life, if you take some time to think about why, like, why do I care so much? It's not as obvious as it seems. And the other day I was talking with some friends, and I actually asked them some questions, some basic questions about who you are, like who you truly are, not just what's your name and all that stuff. It's basic questions, but it's not questions you would ask the first time you met you meet someone. Stuff like, what do you most fear about yourself, or what would you do if you had all the money in the world? Questions like that. And to my surprise, it wasn't that easy for them to answer them. Usually it's questions that I ask myself very often. I have like a Notion template where it's like a dictionary on myself. I just ask myself questions. I've been asking myself questions for the past few years. And whenever I see good questions or I read good questions, just add them to that Notion and I try answering them. It makes me understand myself better. So I was surprised that it wasn't easy for them to answer questions like that. They were like, I don't know, man. I've never thought about that. And they were surprised themselves because it seems like, questions that you could answer, because if you know yourself a minimum, you'd be able to do it. And we came to the conclusion that most of the time we're disconnected from how we actually feel and from who we actually are. If you think about it, if you go to work, you wake up, you brush your teeth, you eat. If you watch YouTube at the same time, you have no time to think. If you go to work, you have no time to think. If you take a break, then you talk with friends, you have no time to think unless you're reflecting on your life or on your coworker's life. But most of us don't really do that. We're just taking some time to relax. Then if you come back from work and I don't know, you take some time to go to the gym, all that stuff, when are you actually taking care of yourself and thinking about how you feel? Unless you're meditating, which is one of the ways, one of the solutions to this, you're actually like just living a vicious cycle of not being connected to who you are. And for a few months, for a few years, or even if you're for your whole lifetime, you could be living someone else's life. And that's one of the biggest regrets of the dying, right? So, my thoughts on that is that we need to be journaling way more often about how we feel in certain ways. I don't like the regular journaling where you just journal every day. Like if you don't have anything to say, just don't do it. But when you feel a certain way, it can be very helpful to just write it down. That way you can express your feelings and understand yourself better. You can talk to someone, someone that you're confident talking with. And obviously meditating, because it gives you time to think about nothing. You're just sitting there, you're telling your brain, there's work, there's business, there's this, that, X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to choose to do nothing. And that's actually fantastic because you're going to have time to be creative. You're going to have time to just, think about nothing. Nothing but nothing. And after that, you're going to be able to refresh your thoughts and be even more productive, more creative, and be more in touch with who you truly are. And one thing I also realize is that you're not going to find yourself just because you want to find yourself. What I mean by that is that you could have as a goal to understand who you are and find your true purpose and find, your core values. But you're not going to find that if that's just a wish. You need to actively be doing stuff, just like building a skill in like coding or marketing or sales is something you do. It's like an ongoing type of activity. It's the same thing with finding who you are. And you're never going to truly find who you are. It's not something you open a box and, oh, this is Muhammad. But you're always going to be connected to who you are. And why is this so important? This is so important because every actions you're going to be taking, every objective you're going to be setting, every conversation you're going to be having is going to be aligned with the person you want to be, right? And this is one of the most important things. And I'm not just talking about, the 9-to-5ers, because, I took that as an example. I'm also talking about the grinders, the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, the gurus. Like, if your whole life is working on your business and nothing else, and you never ask yourself if you care about that, you're in the same boat as everybody else. Like, the hustle culture has become so popular that 12, 13, 14 years old kids are making videos of, I saw one video where it's like, just missed the bus, but who cares because this is day 25 of becoming a billionaire, and the dude is 12. I mean, good for him if that's what he actually wants. But I think that he's just been so influenced by his environment that he just thinks he wants something, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. Who knows? But for everybody, entrepreneurs, business people, salespeople, 9-to-5ers, whatever you do, like, it doesn't matter if you just do things because other people are doing it, if you just do things without ever questioning yourself, why am I doing that? You might be living someone else's life. And to me, that's tragic. That's actually tragic because if you're watching this video right now, chances are you have a home, you could eat, you have access to internet, so you're okay, right? I'm not gonna say you're good, maybe you're not, but you're okay. And if you're okay, if you live like in Western society or even in some other countries where it's good to live, you can define your own success. You can be whoever you want to be. There's limits obviously, but success is just finding what you truly want to do and doing it. It could be anything, absolutely anything. And you have that chance. We have that chance. I have that chance. And if we're not taking it, if we're taking the goals and the objectives of another group, of someone else, and spending all of our life pursuing that, and then finding out that, damn, that wasn't what I wanted to do, well, obviously it's going to be one of your biggest regrets. Obviously. Like, read it. I don't know if you see it. Let's try to focus on it. Right there, the first one. Right. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So you gotta be more connected to who you are. I gotta do that too. It's not because I did it in the past few weeks that, everything is fine. No. We gotta be journaling more, be more present. We gotta be meditating more often. It's not, it's for a reason that the biggest religions and the most popular, ideologies have some sort of, meditations or prayers or, just moments where you're just with yourself. And at that age, back in the days, they didn't have computers, iPhones, music, TV, Netflix, YouTube to be distracted. They had other things, stuff that weren't as exciting as today. So you're not in the best place to be present. It's really hard. But if you're making the effort to be present, to meditate, to journal, to talk to people about how you feel, you're gonna be way ahead of everybody, because you're actually gonna know who you are, what you want, and you're gonna do everything to get that, right? So I think that's it for this video. Just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Thought it was really interesting to think about this. And if this video can help you avoid one of the biggest regret of people on their deathbed, well, I'd be glad. So yeah, it was Mohammed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.